Well, good evening. So, the couch, finally, right? So, everyone waited and complained. I'm looking at you. You know who you are. Um, it's late. I'm tired. But here it is, minus one fill light that I don't have an extension cord for. So, yay, the couch. So, here we are on Jackie's couch. And, oh my gosh, Jackie's tired. Holy Lord, I am ready to go to bed. But let's pick a topic. Let's do something. What did we not go over so far? Well, there was something I'm thinking about. Something different, something new, something that's been bugging me. You know, we don't get to pick our families, right? Families are just that. We're given them and they exist, and we deal with them the best we can, and sometimes they let us down, and sometimes they fulfill us and carry us through, and all sorts of different things, right? What if you could choose your family? Wouldn't that be different? Well, that doesn't make sense, does it? Those are friends and acquaintances and things. Well, yeah, I suppose so. But I ran into something interesting the other day, and there's this one particular person who I've been, around here or there for, I don't know, months. And for some odd reason, the very first time I met this person, I got a dad vibe from him. Well, I can't really explain why. Maybe because he looked a little like my dad. I mean, his face reminds me of my father, so that's interesting. I'd always hoped my father would be, a little more present, but dad had his own struggles. Not going to really go into dad right now. He drank too much, and he had other issues. And, sometimes I really wonder if dad and I are a lot more similar than, I ever thought we were. But we'll go into those details at some other time. So this particular person, I don't know, I got this vibe, and maybe it was just purely based on the idea that his face kind of looks like my dad's face. Or maybe it's the mannerisms or expressions on his face. I don't know what it is. But we got to talking about things, and we were at lunch the other day just hanging out, and we'd gone down to the local Sizzler for whatever reason, and I think it was close to both of us, and we just decided we talked about it, and we both knew where it was, and oh yeah, Sizzler was the last time we saw one of those. I actually really like it. And so we both went and had lunch, and hung around, and I forget what we were doing. We were talking to the person up front taking our orders and stuff. And for some reason, the topic just presented itself, and I said, "Oh yeah, that's my dad." And it just came out of me without even me thinking about it, and it was, almost startled me. Even I thought, "That's really weird. Why did I do that?" I guess because we'd actually talked about it a little and joked around about it. But in the back of my mind, my brain was just ready to pop with that. So it's like, oh, well, that was interesting. That just happened, and so I went and sat down. I actually told him about it, and he said, "Oh yeah, that's kind of weird because I feel kind of oddly similar. It's, weird. Like you're my kid from like another time or something." And so we just started discussing it and realized, well, we both liked the idea of it. So why the hell not? So, sometimes we'll text, and I just call him dad now. I don't know. I don't think that's disrespectful to my own father, but I don't know. It's kind of nice. I know this person accepts me. Kind of feels like a dad. Well, I could kind of use a dad. I mean, what girl doesn't need her father? So, I don't know. It's a weird thought, but I'm running with it. What would you call it? Well, it's not direct family. Tramily? Can you pick your tramily? Trans family? I don't know. It's an odd concept, really. But a lot of us face the idea that our families kind of turn their backs on us for a while or for some time. Not all, but some. Why can't we pick our own family among the best of the trans family and friends that we know? I guess they don't have to be trans. They could just be whoever. But wouldn't it be nice if we could somehow support each other in that fashion, trans to trans? I mean, this is Jackie's couch, and this is about trans support. So maybe the idea does need to be focusing around the idea of trans family, trans to trans, just picking who your family is and supporting one another in that fashion. I mean, who doesn't want to be accepted and loved by their own family? Well, isn't your family who you associate with? Don't we make our friends and our groups of friends kind of our family, or maybe an extended family to some extent? I don't think there's anything wrong with it, and maybe there's something to it. It's just a level of extended support around the idea of family based on your trans acquaintances and friends. Of course, they'd be the ones that you identify with in some fashion. In this case, it's the person that I identified with as a father figure. He just feels like a dad to me. Like, I really want to call him dad. And he doesn't seem to care, which I think he kind of likes it. I'm sure at some point, if it bugs him, he would say, "Hey, kid, knock it off." So I'm just going to count on that idea. Until then, but I think I just got a new dad, so isn't that a kick in the rear? Maybe that's how we can support ourselves in some fashion, just picking things like Tramily. That needs work. Transmily? No. Tramily? I don't know. Maybe you could leave a comment about how to meld trans and family together. I don't know. It would be a neat idea, or maybe you could share an experience where you've done the same. Maybe this is no original idea for myself. Maybe this has been done. And if it is, great. We need to share this more. Why can't we pick our family and support each other in that fashion? That's what trans support is all about. We don't want to lose our connection to people, even if it's the ones we grew up with. Many families are comprised of different components of people from different places who all come together. And they're not all biological by any means. They just end up becoming family by virtue of marriage or proximity. There's a lot of aunts and uncles who have nothing to do with biological anything. Well, so be it. Why can't we do that inside our own community? It's not that it has to be inside our community, but I think the idea of supporting one another and giving each other the opportunity to have that connection that we would with family when maybe we're missing it would be a good thing. I don't know. Still playing with it, considering it. But for now, I know who I'm calling dad, so until he tells me to knock it off, it's kind of happening. So yeah, I hope he likes a dorky, geeky kid, so. That being said, so much of us worry greatly about losing family. And the reality is, many of us do. But what's the alternative? We hold a great deal of guilt and shame over the whole thing. And these people who would put against us the idea of owning that guilt and shame and putting it upon us makes it so much worse, doesn't it? I've seen it work both ways. I've seen my own personal disintegration of family and spouse and everything, and come to terms with the idea that, it's not exactly my fault. Everyone has to make a decision. The worst I put upon anyone is the idea that they need to make a decision about what they're doing. What does love mean to them? What does a spouse mean to them? Everyone has a different concept of this, and decisions have to be made, don't they? Same could be said for getting fat or going bald or losing weight or getting tattoos or changing the way you dress. I mean, any of these things, people change. It's a constant. The idea that people would simply stay the same and to be expected to do such really is quite ridiculous. Do we ostracize the family member who goes bald? Well, that would be terrible. What about that aunt that gained a lot of weight over the last few years? I mean, a lot. You know the one, right? Well, why would that make any difference with your relationship with her? It certainly shouldn't. And everybody has their own idea of beauty. It's in the eye of the beholder. There are plenty of people who think that big aunt is gorgeous. And there's plenty of people that think your skinny little tiny cousin that weighs 80 pounds is just amazing. Really, it's not one or the other. And don't we all just want acceptance anyway? And that's what the whole thing is. We want people to extend the love and acceptance that they would for those family members that either gained or lost weight, or got a lot of tattoos or piercings, or started dressing completely differently, dyed their hair, shaved their hair, went bald, gained or lost weight. I think I already said that. But we all want that same acceptance, but for whatever reason, when you throw gender into the mix, it really shakes up the family dynamic, does it not? I think we're breaking barriers in this area. Honestly, I expected quite a bit of support from my family. They're very progressive, rather liberal. I grew up with my mother, who is very easygoing about all of these topics, except for the fact it was her son. She had a gay brother who was fantastic in every way, accepted his partner into the family, and that person is still family to me and everyone I know. Yet those same people are struggling with me personally. I don't think it will happen continually or forever, but it's really hard to have someone tell you that they don't want you in their life anymore, or at least for the certain time being, and that their family doesn't agree with what's going on with you or want to be part of what's going on. Really, that's a gentle way, and I don't actually think it's all that gentle, to say, we don't want you around until we're ready to accept you, which seems a little callous, but it's very normal, isn't it? We all fear that. We fear our spouse saying, I want nothing to do with this, and walking away from us. Well, it happens, and I've gone through it. I thought it was going to destroy me. And I think many of us think the same things. If I lost my family, if I lost my spouse, if I lost my job, I would just be destroyed. No, you're not going to be destroyed. I can say that because here I am. I'm not destroyed. It was very difficult, but I came through it with the help of my friends and my therapist, who was key, going to group and talking with others. I realized I'm okay. It's going to work. I will get through this. And I really wish I could somehow impart that same feeling to those who are facing the fire of going through it themselves. And isn't that what transition is? It's a crucible. You can choose to take along the good parts of yourself, and should you want to, leave the bad parts behind. You could say to yourself, if I'm going to go through this, why not take the opportunity to mold myself into something that I really love? Somebody who I wish I could be. Well, you can do that. Hormone replacement therapy really does wonders for adjusting one's temperament. The greatest gift I've received is just simply the lack of anger. I love not being angry about things. No raging red eyes behind the steering wheel anymore. No wanting to tear someone's head off because they disagree with me. I actually can think clearly through the process of being concerned and finding ways to understand them first, and then find the grounds and the footing to have the conversation to move forward. That's a gift. One I didn't know would happen, but people did talk about it. Boy, it was like glad when it happened. But in all of that goodness, people want to walk away from us sometimes. It's kind of best to do it without a grudge. Be as kind and loving as you can and hope for the best. It's really all I can think of. And I'll have to let you know how that works out. But maybe in the family realm, we can support ourselves directly. I encourage anyone to think of that. If you have someone in mind that pops up as a family member, talk to them about it. Maybe that's something they would look forward to. Maybe that Father's Day card would mean something. Maybe that greeting on a birthday or Christmas card would really make a difference. And I think we could all do that for one another, and I think that's what it's all about. Support. Trans support. All that being said, I think I'm tired enough to want to go to bed now. So just know that I care. I'm here for you. I'm going through it too. We're all going to get through it somehow. If you're just starting out, know that you can share in my experiences, and those of the others I can bring onto this couch. So what we're going to do coming up is we're going to have some guests that we're going to interview, and we're going to go through some of their experiences and what they've done, and some of them will be support of trans in some fashion, or maybe suicide prevention, or other trans people who can share their stories so you can feel what they've gone through as well. And you can know you're not alone, because you're not alone, I promise you. We all have to do what we have to do, and there are times that it's very difficult. And when we hold each other up and give each other comfort, that's how we get through. Know that I'm here to give you that comfort and share with you, and I'll bring more. And we will have them sit on the couch and talk about what we can do with one another so that we can support each other. And when you feel completely down and you're having dark thoughts, know that there are resources out there. There is a great place, transgenderpulse.com. Fantastic people who will listen to you. There is no weirdness there. There is no pictures of anything untoward. No prescription dosage recommendations. It's only support. And that's what you'll find there. They have a fantastic gender therapist resource page that you can use. I found my first therapist there as well, here in my hometown, and I absolutely love the person that I was able to sit down with and talk with about my gender issues. And that person helped me lead all the way towards being able to talk with my doctor and find resources beyond just the initial resource that I had found through the transgenderpulse.com resource page. They also have suicide prevention hotlines, and if you need them, reach out. That's what they're there for. Don't lay on the bottom of the ocean floor saying, I'm fine. You're not fine, you're drowning. You have to recognize that and reach out for the help. When we go through these things in life, it is best to ask for the help and receive it than it is to pretend we don't need it, because we're only hurting ourselves and potentially others as well. So know that I care, and I'm here, and I'm going to do everything I can to share. You are not alone. It's all going to work out somehow, one way or another. Why do I know this? Because that's what's happening in my life too. So I can look back and say, my goodness, I might have to get to plan Z some days, but things are working out. So that's okay. I've got lots of surgeries coming, and you get to see all of them. All the ugly bandages and bruises and everything. Oh goodness. I've made the commitment. And as much as I might want to hide under a rock during those days, you get to see it. So good for you, I guess. And we'll just go through it as we go through it. So stick with me. If you feel like you need the help, reach out and get that help. Otherwise, know that I care and I'm here for you. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you soon. And we're going to bring some people in on the couch and get these interviews going. I think we will have somebody very interesting coming up. So keep with me, and I will help you through. Till next time. See you later. Good night.